Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 107th anniversary of Anzac. And the RSL Bunbury welcomes you all to this service, especially children and veterans. The sub-branch of Bunbury acknowledges the traditional owners of the land on which we meet today and pay our respects to elders past and present. We remind you this commemoration service is held under COVID-19 restrictions. We encourage attendees to wear a mask, adhere to social distancing requirements. Anyone feeling unwell, we ask you to go to either the two ambulances located on my left or right in Parkfield Street and the senior citizens. Toilets and drinking facilities are located outside the senior citizens buildings. If anybody wishes to lay wreaths, they do line up on the Parkfields street side of this area here so that we can all line up, and if you have a wreath, just get over there and we'll make sure that you get a chance to put it down. You now have a wreath laying ceremony led by Charlie Phillips on the pipes. John Jeremy laying a wreath on behalf of the RSL. St John Ambulance Brigade. Any members of the public who wish to lay a wreath, do so now. Parade Commander.
Parade at 10, shut!
Rifle shot? I don't know. Should we announce that?
Rifle shot! Parade, stand at 8. Parade at 10, shot!
They went with songs to the battle. They were young, straight of limb, true of eyes steady and aglow. They were staunch to the end against odds unencountered. They fell with their faces to the foe. They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
Lest we forget.
Lest we forget.
Parade, stand at 8.
Now have the requiem. Officer Cadet.
On this day, above all days, we remember those Australian men and women who died or suffered in the great tragedy of war. On the morning of April 25th, 1915, Australian and New Zealand troops landed under fire at Gallipoli, and it was then, and in the violent campaign which followed, that the Anzac tradition was forged. The elements of that tradition have inspired and offered an enduring example to later generations of Australians. Each year we pay homage to not only to those original Anzacs, but to all who have died or were disabled in their service to this country. They enrich our nation's history. Their hope was for the freedom of mankind, and we remember with pride their courage, their compassion, and their comradeship. They served on land and sea and in the air in many places throughout the world. Not only do we honour the memory of those Australians who have fallen in battle, we share the sorrow of those who have mourned them all and of all who have been the victims of armed conflict. On this day, we remember with sympathy those Australians who have suffered as prisoners of war and those who, because of war, have had their lives shortened or handicapped. We recall staunch friends and allies, and especially those of the first Anzac Day. May we and our successors prove worthy of their sacrifice.
Thank you, Darcy Reid. We now have the national anthems, New Zealand and Australia, God Defend New Zealand, and Advance Australia Fair.
Parade, attend, shot!
You now, Bunbury President of Bunbury RSL, Mr. John Gelmy.
Parade, attend, hey!
Good morning. Just like to acknowledge the parade, the wonderful turnout. I'd like to thank Trevor Kenny, Parade Commander. Also this morning, the parade marshals and COVID marshals. As you know, we're still under COVID restrictions. There's been a lot said that it's all free, you can do what you like, but we've got to be a little bit careful with the way things are in this day. I'd like to acknowledge the South West Coastal District Scouts who last night did the vigil on the cenotaph, and they stayed for quite a long time because unfortunately we're running out of people to do the vigils. So I'd like to thank them very much. At the moment on the cenotaph we've got 515 Army Cadet Unit. I'd like to thank them very much for parading. They're always very smart, and thank you very kindly for your efforts this morning. Brett Corkery, I'd like to thank Brett. This is his 40th year playing the bugle at our Anzac parades. So Brett, thank you very much. Charlie Phillips, Charles, thank you also. Great piper. He helps us every year for our Remembrance Day and Anzac Day. Thank you very much, Charlie. Trevor Hoare for the rifle shot, the rifleman. Thank you very much, Trevor. I'd like just to go a bit further with this and acknowledge the Ukrainian flag which is flying to your right hand side there, and on this side here we have the Polish flag. The reason today for being there is we realise Ukraine is in a lot of pain, and unfortunately there's not much we can do about it, but they're fighting, defending their country. All throughout history, people have been land grabbers, and this is what causes wars. We haven't learnt, unfortunately, and it's a great shame that the women and children and the old people and the disabled in Ukraine are caught up in this. It's terrifying for them. So it's very relevant today that we acknowledge these people for their courage. And that memorial there is the courage of our descendants. And out there's the courage of those that have defended Australia for the same reasons. And I congratulate them. And they're in front of you here today, the veterans, the service people. And out there amongst the crowd, there are veterans and service people. So it's all very relevant that we acknowledge the Ukrainian people and also the Polish people. They've all been through this before. The Polish people have been really great with the Ukrainians in harbouring them in their country and feeding them and looking after them. So I'll leave you with this thought today as we go from here. Our special guest today is an actual United Nations representative, and that's Joseph Caruso, and he'll be here at our morning service. And he is a United Nations man. He's done a lot of things in his life. But I thank you all very much, the people out there, for your attendance today. It's great to see a crowd, especially when we're limited. And it's wonderful to see you all here, and I thank you all very much.
Thank you, John. Parade Commander, march the guard off. Trying to work out. There you are. Oh, yeah.
Just do you. Well, what's he done? Stuck it all up.
Oh, that's it.
He's got sticky all over, so you can't, it'd be hard to even turn it on. That'd be all right.
Sure?
Yeah.